into that.
So I believe that I received blessing on top of blessing on top of blessing for going through this program, because I really didn't know about the ministry component when I signed up. To be completely honest, I was focused on, I have tried everybody but God. And I don't know, people are like, that's Kim, you know what I mean? That's Jerome and Linda's daughter. Or, I know her when she lived in, how can she say, she, I can honestly tell you that my entire life, I had not gone to God and prayed for his guidance on anything. And I know, again, some people might be like, I just don't get it. But I promise you guys, for instance, my choice of going to college. I went to the first school that sent me an acceptance letter in the mail and said that 75% of my tuition was going to be paid. I knew I had to go to school. I knew to get good grades. And then UF said, hey, you want to come? I was like, yes. So I didn't purposely seek out or map out a plan. So because I didn't necessarily have a plan, I was just walking in God's providence. I was just walking in his blessings, because there was nothing that I purposely planned. I didn't pray before I got married. I didn't pray in the relationships that I chose to be in. I didn't pray before I moved to Texas and started my job. Even though those things became a blessing for me, I did not. So in going to the point where we started talking about my audience and my ministry, again, this was perfect timing. So right when Kendra and I started our sessions, I got into being a Sunday school teacher at church. And for me, how did I get into even wanting to do that is one Sunday, Kamori and I went to church, and unfortunately the Sunday school teacher was not there. So there was a classroom of kids with no teacher. So my mom's a teacher. So I've had a teacher in my life, my entire life, but I've always done corporate. I've always done IT, just naturally following more of my educational goals and strengths, not necessarily church. But for church, my ministry has always been singing. I've always been an elder's kid. I've always been a preacher's grandkid. So, seeing that the kids didn't have a teacher, I just went in there, we sang songs, we did little activities, but I immediately fell in love. It was an instant thing. So thank God I got into being a teacher for our primary classes before COVID started. So I was able to do all the hands-on activities. We were able to do snacks. We were able to hug and kiss and, have that complete interaction. But then COVID happened. So once COVID happened, we went for a long time without Sunday school. And then with the leadership's decision, we finally went into doing it remotely. So then I went into a remote children's ministry. So I had to really rethink, how am I going to engage these kids at the same level that I'm going to engage them as I did in the classroom? Because in the classroom, we're building models and, we're doing the story about the fish and the bread. We have real bread. We got, real fish, real jellyfish, everything was so hands-on. And so learning my audience, I knew that the older kids, it is so funny. Ironically, I was also substitute teaching at this time. So God allowed me to see what age group I like teaching just in general. So getting into like the 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, they think they know a little bit more than the teacher. or a little bit more than mommy. So I was like, no, that's not for me. Then I would go to high school and the attitudes, and it was just too much. So my perfect audience for me and my ministry is that, 2, 3, 4, maybe to 6 or 7 years old. They're excited. They see me. They're excited to learn. And I can really help for them to develop a relationship and to fall in love with being a little Christian. And that was the most amazing feeling and the most amazing ministry. And at Southside, I had a great group of kids, but I also had a great group of parents. They were very, very, very responsive. So I learned to go into extensions of my ministry. I would do text messages and I would do emails. And I would send the classwork in advance, so they had time to prep. So I was doing everything that I could, because at the end of the day, I didn't want to give the parents any excuse as to why their kid could not come to class. I wasn't prepared, or we didn't do the lesson, or I forgot, or I didn't remember. So I was texting them 2 and 3 times a week. I was highlighting the accomplishments. We would learn Bible songs and learn the books of the Bible. And I would ask the leadership before church start, can the kids please go up front and sing their song? We did certificates for learning the books of the Bible. And one of the most special things that we did was our breakfast of Thanksgiving. So we had it to where around Thanksgiving time, before COVID happened, each kid invited their parents to the breakfast. And we just had an entire Sunday school where we were able to interact, teacher to student with parents and with the leadership. And it was one of the most amazing, fulfilling things, because the kids could say what they were thankful for. And not that I needed recognition, but for a child to say they were thankful for Miss Kim because she taught me about Jesus has been one of the most fulfilling things that I've ever experienced. So it was an amazing journey to truly learn and be convicted that teaching Sunday school class is one of my primary personal ministries.